Chapter 1. The Stranger Among Beasts. The sky above Belmara was a canvas of eternal storms. Lightning clawed at the heavens like the dying breath of gods, and the twin moons wept silver across a world soaked in blood. Carter Issen's drop pod screamed through the atmosphere like a cursed soul, spiraling violently before slamming into the dense jungle of thorn trees and pulsating fungi. He crawled out of the broken shell, coughing black smoke, blinking through the cracked visor of his helmet. The jungle was alive, not just with insects or beasts, but with whispers. Faint voices, impossible echoes. A presence. His squad? Dead. Lost in orbit. He was alone, but not for long. Hours passed. The humidity clung to him like a second skin. He stumbled into a clearing where stone monoliths formed a half circle around a pit. And there, chaos. 5 humans. Soldiers like him, though ragged and bleeding, circled by towering alien warriors. The Bontar. Issen had read about them in mission briefings. A tribal race bred for war, obsessed with honor, untouched by technology. 10 feet tall, armored in bone, they wielded massive blades etched with runes. They didn't fight in groups. No, they tested their prey one by one, taking turns, watching how honor unfolded. One human screamed as a Bontar's blade tore through him. Issen watched hidden, heart pounding. The soldiers were outnumbered, outmatched. Yet the Bontar held their line. They would not attack together. It was a ritual, a test. But it wasn't a fight. It was slaughter dressed as ceremony. Something inside Carter snapped. He stormed into the clearing, rifle raised. The Bontar halted. All movement froze. The humans gasped in disbelief. One of the Bontar stepped forward, colossal, with tusks protruding from his jaw and a gnarled blade twice the size of Issen. His eyes burned like molten rock. "You interrupt the rite." His voice boomed like a mountain cracking. Issen didn't lower his weapon. "This isn't a rite. This is a massacre." The Bontar laughed, a low, guttural roar. "You dare insult Gorbak, son of Karan, in sacred trial?" "I dare." Issen dropped his rifle. "Let's make it fair. Just you and me." Gasps erupted from humans and Bontar alike. Gorbak grinned, revealing fangs. "You want the right? Then bleed with me, little meat." They formed a circle. The rules were unspoken, but ancient. No weapons, but what could be found. No help. No mercy. Issen grabbed a fractured bone from the ground, jagged at the end. The moment he stepped inside the circle, the air grew heavier, charged. Even the storm above paused. Gorbak lunged first. Fast, too fast for his size. Issen rolled beneath the slash, the wind of the blade nearly caving his skull in. He jabbed with the bone, missed. Gorbak spun, slamming his fist into Issen's ribs. Something cracked. Pain flared like fire through his side. He staggered back, blood in his mouth. But he saw something. Gorbak's left leg, scarred, stiff, weak. When the beast charged again, Issen dove to the side and swept the leg. Gorbak stumbled. The circle gasped. No one had ever made Gorbak stumble. Issen leapt on his back, drove the bone shard into his shoulder. Gorbak roared, grabbing Issen and slamming him into the ground. The world spun. "You die with honor," the brute yelled. "No," Issen whispered. "You fall without it." He kicked Gorbak's injured leg hard. The warrior dropped to one knee. Issen snatched a rock and brought it down on his head. Once. Twice. A third time. Silence. Gorbak fell. Unconscious. Defeated. The jungle held its breath. And then the Bontar chanted. A slow, rhythmic sound. Not of anger, but recognition. The humans rushed forward, stunned. "Are you insane?" one cried. "You just challenged a Bontar warlord and lived." Issen didn't answer. His eyes were on the Bontar, now forming ranks. One of them approached. Older. Tayir. Runes glowing on his chest. "You fought the right. You live. You earn the mark." A scarred blade appeared in the elder's hands. "But honor demands blood. Your blood. The trial of bone awaits. Face the cave. Face the beast. Or leave. As nothing. Issen's breath caught. He could barely stand, but he didn't flinch. "I'll take your trial," he said, chest rising. The elder nodded. The circle parted, and from the edge of the jungle, a path opened, leading into a chasm, black and endless. "Enter, and if you survive, you become one of us. Or you die, and we feast on your bones." Issen limped forward, stepping into the shadows. The cave swallowed him whole, and from within, something moved. Something ancient. Something waiting. Chapter 2. The Blood Trial. The cavern swallowed the light as Carter Issen stepped inside, each footfall echoing like a war drum across ancient stone. Behind him, the jungle closed, and with it, the chant of the Bontar faded into silence. Before him, only darkness. Cold, suffocating darkness. He had no weapon, no light, only pain in his ribs, blood in his mouth, and the whispers again, faint now, yet unmistakably real. "He should not be here. He carries the mark. Will awaken." He paused, heart racing. He wasn't alone, but whatever watched him didn't breathe, didn't move. Not yet. The trial of bone was whispered in the Bontar camps like a legend told to frighten young warriors. It wasn't a rite of passage. It was a test of the soul, and it had killed nearly everyone who dared it. The tunnel spiraled downward, deeper into the planet's crust. Strange growths clung to the walls, moss-like but pulsing as if alive. He brushed one with his fingers. It twitched. Issen flinched back. Further in, the temperature dropped. Frost coated the stone. A humming sound began, low and throbbing, like a heartbeat beneath the ground. He entered a vast chamber, circular, with a pit in the center. Chains dangled from the ceiling, swaying without wind. That's when he heard it. A wet sound, slow dragging, something breathing. A presence slithered from the shadows. It was massive, lizard-like. No, wrong. Its skin shimmered between forms, between matter and shadow. Dozens of eyes blinked across its body, each one trained on Issen. Its head was skeletal, but the bones shifted as it moved. The Hector, the creature that had ended hundreds before him. Issen backed away, instinct screaming. The beast screeched, a deafening, layered sound like 1,000 screams crushed into one. Then it lunged. Issen dove aside, barely dodging the jaws that snapped where he'd stood. He rolled across the ground, grabbing a jagged stone, slicing his palm. Blood painted the cavern floor. The Hector hissed. It smelled the blood. It wanted it. The beast struck again, faster now, smarter, as if testing him. He ducked, rolled beneath its tail, and sprinted toward a fallen chain. With effort, he wrapped it around his arm and yanked, the sound clattering through the darkness. The Hector turned and charged. Issen didn't move. He waited. At the last moment, he leapt aside. The Hector smashed into the pillar behind him. The chain snapped free, falling at Issen's feet. He grabbed it, wrapping it around the stone shard he held. A makeshift flail. "Let's end this," he growled. The beast recovered and roared, barreling toward him again. Issen swung the flail, striking its face. The shard sliced through one of the creature's many eyes. It shrieked and recoiled, but it wasn't done. The cavern trembled. The Hector reared back, and from its chest, bones split open. A tendril emerged, pulsating and sharp, aiming straight for his heart. It struck, but missed, because in that split second, time slowed. Issen didn't understand why. He just moved. His body responded before his brain. He saw the world in fragments, the tendril in midair, the blood droplets frozen, the crackle of energy around his hand. What was happening to him? He twisted, drove the stone flail into the exposed chest of the beast. Again. With a final scream, the Hector collapsed. Its form shimmered, then turned to ash. The silence that followed was unnatural. The cavern lit up, not from torches, but from Issen's own body. His chest pulsed with light. Lines of glowing energy snaked down his arms. He felt at his knees, panting. Then a voice echoed from the stone itself. He has awakened. The last of the Void Bearers has returned. He looked up. Symbols on the wall glowed, reacting to him. The trial was never about the creature. It was about unlocking what was buried inside him. Something ancient. Something powerful. He staggered out of the chamber, the Hector's fong in hand as proof of victory. When he emerged into the jungle, the Bontar stood waiting, silent. The elder approached, studying him. His eyes widened as he saw the glow pulsing beneath Isen's skin. He knelt, and so did the others. You are not a warrior, Carter Isen. You are the bearer of the ancient flame. The void speaks through you. Isen swayed, barely able to stand. I didn't come here to be your god, he said. I just wanted to survive. The elder rose. Then prepare. For survival is no longer an option. You carry the storm, and the storm has been seen. Suddenly, the sky above cracked with thunder, not natural. The clouds turned black. Red lightning forked across the heavens. A new ship entered orbit. Not Bontar, not human. Drabari. They had come for the Void Bearer, and they would not leave without him. Chapter 3. The storm has seen you. The air turned electric. Every leaf, every stone, every breath in the jungle of Belmara trembled under the looming shadow now cast over the sky. The Drabari ship wasn't large. It was colossal. It blotted out the sun like a storm cloud sculpted from metal and malice. Its hull bore the marks of worlds conquered, jagged scars, tribal runes of the dead, bones fused into armor. Carter Isen stared up, heartbeat racing, as the red lightning split the sky again, this time striking the jungle far behind him, leaving nothing but a blackened crater. They found me, he whispered. The Bontar warriors stood still, shields raised, spears trembling. Is this your doing, Void Bearer? Barked Marnock, one of the elder warriors. Isen turned, eyes glowing faintly still from the blood trial. I don't even know what I am. Marnock snarled. You bring death. You think honor was earned with Gorbaka's defeat? With the trial? You are a weapon, not a brother. The elder Bontar, Theroin, stepped forward. Enough. The signs are clear. The Drabari seek him because he holds the key. Before he could finish, a blinding light erupted above them. A piercing hum descended. The ship had opened. From the belly of the beast, they came. The Drabari didn't walk. They glided, encased in armor that twisted and reshaped itself as they moved. 8 of them landed, but one stood apart. Tayir, cloaked in writhing shadows. His name echoed in Isen's mind before anyone said it. Merrick, the Harbinger. Return the child of the void. Merrick's voice thundered, laced with ancient power. And we will spare your bones from fire. No one moved. Then Marnock did something unthinkable. He stepped forward and dropped a spear. He is not one of us, Marnock said, head bowed. Take him. Spare the clan. Marnock. Theroin's voice cracked with disbelief. But Marnock kept speaking. He is a curse. The moment he bled on Belmara, the end began. Merrick smiled. Isen couldn't breathe. Betrayed. Sold. Not by enemies, but by those who had bowed to him hours ago. The Drabari moved toward him. No, Isen whispered, backing away. No, I won't go. 2 warriors tried to grab him. Isen screamed, and the air shattered. A pulse exploded from his chest. Not sound, not fire, but pure void energy. It sent the Drabari flying back, knocking Bontar warriors off their feet. Trees bent and cracked under the force. Merrick didn't flinch. He simply watched, studied. You still don't understand what you are, he said, his voice a hiss of amusement. That power is not yours. It is ours. You were made to contain it, not to command it. I don't care. Isen roared. I won't be your weapon. Merrick raised a hand. Suddenly, Isen's body locked. Pain exploded in his skull. His arms went limp. He collapsed to his knees, screaming. I can break you with a word, Merrick said, stepping closer. You are a relic, a container for the storm buried long ago. Your power is a key, and it belongs to the void, not to you. Then Merrick whispered something in an alien tongue. And something inside Isin responded. A scream tore from his throat, not his voice. Something deeper, ancient, something waking up. His vision fractured. He saw flashes of other worlds. Fires, cities in ruin, ships being ripped apart by shadows. And always Merrick in the center. Isin saw himself, too, standing over corpses, covered in blood, holding a blade made of starlight. And in his eyes, no soul remained. No, he groaned. That's not me. Merrick leaned close. Not yet. Suddenly, a spear flew through the air, striking Merrick's shoulder. Theroin, Bontar, do not betray our own, the elder snarled. Even if the stars have cursed them. Chaos erupted. The jungle exploded into battle. Drabari unleashed their weapons, void cannons that disintegrated rock and armor. Bontar warriors charged, roaring with fury. The air filled with screams, explosions, and smoke. Isin crawled through the chaos, barely breathing. Then a hand gripped him. Not Drabari. It was Vaila, a young Bontar woman who had watched from the shadows since his arrival. A healer, a warrior in training. But more than that, someone who had believed in him when others didn't. Come with me, she shouted. I know a way out. She dragged him through the jungle, past dying warriors and burning trees. Isin struggled to stand, to move. But whatever Merrick had done still burned inside him. Why are you helping me? He asked, voice hoarse. Because I saw the fire in you, Vaila replied. The kind that doesn't burn others, the kind that can light a path. Behind them, the Drabori hunted. But ahead, the jungle opened. To a temple, buried, hidden for centuries. Vaila pointed. The Void Bearer was forged there. If you want answers, if you want to end this. She looked at him. You have to go back to where it all began. Isin nodded, barely conscious. But as he stepped into the ancient stone doorway, something shifted in the wind. A voice called again. Not Merrick, not the Void, but his own from deep within. This is not the end, Carter. This is your beginning. Chapter 4. The Temple Beneath the World. The temple was not made of stone. Not entirely. Its walls pulsed, alive with veins of glowing crystal, flickering with echoes of energy older than stars. Symbols danced across the floor, reacting to Isin's footsteps. With every step he took, the air grew heavier, charged with something ancient and terrible. Vaila walked ahead, torch in hand, her eyes darting between the glowing runes. This place, she whispered, it predates the Bontar. Predates even the old ones. Isin didn't reply. His breathing was ragged. The pain Merrick left in him hadn't faded. It had burrowed deeper. Something inside him was shifting, growing, and he could feel it watching him from the walls, from the floor, from within his own bones. I feel like I've been here before, he finally said. Vaila nodded. Because you have. In pieces. In memories buried so deep they bleed through dreams. At the heart of the temple stood a black monolith. It pulsed, deep, slow, like a sleeping god's breath. Vaila approached it and pressed her palm to the surface. Nothing happened. Then Isin stepped forward. The moment his skin brushed the monolith, the room trembled. The runes lit up in blood-red light. The ground cracked. The walls screamed. And suddenly, he saw everything. Visions. Hundreds of them. A war, long before the first human had even looked to the stars. A war against the Stormborn, creatures of raw energy that consumed galaxies like insects devour fruit. They cannot be killed, only contained. And so, the ancients created hosts, vessels, people bred, shaped, and carved with forgotten sciences to hold the storm inside them. One of those vessels, the most dangerous, was named Isin. Not Carter Isin, just Isin. A prototype. The first. He wasn't a man. He was a weapon. A weapon who once lost control. He saw himself, another version, ripping stars apart with a scream. Planets dying in seconds. A fleet of 10,000 ships turning to dust as the storm inside him broke free. And then silence. He had been sealed away. Forgotten. Until now. Isin collapsed to the floor, gasping. I'm not real, he whispered. I'm not even human. Viola knelt beside him, her voice firm. You're more than human. You're what they feared, and what we need now. No, you saw what I did. I'm the end of everything. She grabbed his face. Then choose not to be. Suddenly, a voice echoed in the chamber. Beautiful, isn't it? Merrick. He stood at the entrance, flanked by Drabari soldiers. Your mind awakened faster than I thought, he said, stepping closer. You've seen what you were, what you still are. Isin tried to stand, but his legs refused. You think you're stronger than the storm? Merrick asked, cold amusement in his voice. You are the storm. No, Isin hissed. I'm something else now. Merrick chuckled. Really? Then why does the temple respond only to your touch? Why did the storm pulse with joy when you bled in the trial? The Drabari soldiers raised their weapons. Viola stood protectively in front of Isin. You'll have to go through me, she growled. Merrick didn't even blink. Gladly, he raised his hand and fired. But before the bolt could strike her, Isin screamed. Not in fear, in fury. The storm inside him erupted. A shock wave blasted outward. The monolith shattered. Runes exploded in a spiral of fire and void. The temple ceiling caved in, crushing 2 Drabari instantly. Merrick stumbled, shielding his eyes. But Isin wasn't done. He floated. Not stood, floated, crackling with black lightning, eyes pure white. The storm was in control now, but this time it listened. Get out, Isin said. Merrick tried to speak, but a wave of energy slammed him into the far wall. Blood spattered. Bones cracked. The Drabari panicked and fled. Viola stared in awe. In terror, Isin floated down, trembling, eyes dimming slowly. The power receded for now. Viola helped him to his feet. You controlled it. No, he said softly. It let me. She met his eyes. Then we'd better make sure it keeps letting you. Behind them, where the monolith once stood, a chamber opened. A black vault. Inside it lay a sword. Hovering, humming, forged from the heart of a collapsed star. Isin reached for it, and as his fingers closed around the hilt, a voice echoed once more. Stormbreaker has returned. Viola whispered, now we fight the future you were made to destroy. Isin turned to her, eyes fierce. No, we rewrite it. Chapter 5. The Storm and the Silence. They came from the void. 10,000 Drabari ships descended on Belmara like a plague of shadows. Each one bristled with weapons forged in forgotten suns, black holes bearing the insignia of the Crimson Crown, an empire of extinction. The skies burned. Explosions lit the heavens as the last of the Bontar warriors rallied under one banner, Isin's. He stood at the edge of the shattered plateau, armor still scorched from the temple's wrath, the sword Stormbreaker humming on his back. Viola stood beside him, eyes scanning the horizon. They outnumber us 20-1, she said. I know, Isin replied. You're smiling, because I've finally remembered what I was born to do. From behind, thousands of Bontar warriors stood in rows, scarred, battered, but unyielding. They had seen him wield the void. They had seen him tame it. They did not fear him. They followed him. The first Drabari ship pierced the atmosphere like a dagger. Isin raised his hand. Lightning danced from his fingertips. And then, war. The sky split open. Fighters screamed past, exchanging bursts of plasma. The ground quaked as the Bontar charged into battle. Viola danced through enemies like a flame. Isin became a storm, a living weapon, blasting through lines of enemy soldiers with his blade and power alike. But the Drabari had more than firepower. They had Merrick, and he was no longer mortal. The storm had touched him too. He descended like a god. Armor cracked open to reveal a core of raw cosmic energy. Eyes like black holes. A voice deeper than time. You've delayed the inevitable. Isin, he roared. But this ends now. Isin met him in the center of the battlefield. The earth shattered beneath their clash. Blow after blow shook the skies. Stormbreaker cracked against Merrick's obsidian blade. Their powers clashed. Lightning against shadow, void against void. But Merrick had one advantage. He wasn't afraid to lose himself. "You're still holding back," Merrick taunted. "Still clinging to your humanity. Let go, Issen. Become what you were made to be." Issen hesitated. For 1 second. And it cost him. Merrick struck, driving his blade through Issen's chest. Viola screamed from afar. The Bontar faltered. Issen collapsed to his knees, gasping, blood pouring. "You were never worthy," Merrick whispered. And then the world stopped. Inside the void, time froze. Issen stood, not in his body, but in his mind. And there stood another version of himself. The original Issen. Cold, hollow, pure destruction. "You were always afraid of me," the original said. "No," Carter whispered. "I was afraid I'd become you. You are me. Then let me show you who we are now." And he pulled the storm into himself. All of it. He didn't fight it. He embraced it. Not as a weapon, but as a shield. A purpose. A choice. When he opened his eyes, the blade in his chest melted. His wounds sealed. Stormbreaker glowed with white flame. And Merrick stepped back. "No," Merrick breathed. "That's impossible." Issen stood. His voice was calm. "You're right. I'm not what I was made to be." He raised the blade. "I'm what I chose to become." The final strike split the sky. A column of light erupted, vaporizing Merrick and his shadowed core. The Drabari fleet trembled. Ships malfunctioned. Power died. Their empire cracked. Silence fell. The war was over. But not without cost. Half the Bontar lay dead. The plains of Belmara were scorched. Issen fell to his knees once more, not from wounds, but from grief. Viola approached, kneeling beside him. "It's done," she said softly. Issen looked to the burning sky. "No," he whispered. "It's only begun." Epilogue. Echoes in the void. Months later, the galaxy heals slowly. The Bontar, once a scattered warrior race, are rebuilding, united. The Drabori remnants hide in the dark corners of space. But whispers speak of a new enemy, one that fed on the storm's awakening. And far beyond the edges of the known universe, something stirs. In a hidden chamber aboard a silent ship, a screen flickers to life. A figure in shadow reads the final message from the temple of Belmara. Portador del Vaccio, activated. Balance disrupted. The others will awaken. The figure leans forward, revealing a face that should have died. Merrick, smiling,